Oh, hello and welcome to Traffic Paradise Radio. I'm your host Uno, and joining me today is the lovely Immy for a very
Hello.
special breaking news episode. Oh yeah, I can't be too loud. I have neighbors, but he did it. Yuki
Oh,
is officially a Red Bull racing driver. Immy, how do you feel?
oh my god, I woke up like right when the announcement happened. It was like the world was telling me, you must wake up right now, you know? Something monumental has happened. I I feel like this is amazing. I don't feel as excited as I would have because we sort of knew for like days now that it was going to happen. So it wasn't like when I was trying to hype myself up back before Checo got the 1+1, I was like, it's red and white. Maybe this means something. And then it was actually just bitter disappointment. But that's okay. No, I feel really good about it. Like, thank God, actually, that Yuki has some time to prove himself, and maybe the car's really a dustbin, but I'm feeling pretty hopeful.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if my sound is better or worse than last time, but regardless, I apologize for the poor quality. We've had some teething issues while I'm here in Japan, but I will try and get them sorted out as soon as possible. Hopefully before our Suzuka predictions on Sunday. I'm going to try and get myself a new microphone this weekend. But yeah, I don't think it matters right now because today's just an exciting day, and who cares about sound quality? Because Yuki Tsunoda got the Red Bull drive. Woo! As you can see, Yuki gets his wings. Beautiful imagery there, I must say. Well done to whoever made that. It's iconic.
I wonder.
Um,
Well done, Uno.
Thank you. Yeah, this is, as you know, if you've watched this show before, I'm personally like a massive Yuki fan, and this podcast was created out of an idea that happened inside a Yuki Tsunoda fan group chat. Not everyone's like a ride or die Yuki, but everyone is pro Yuki.
There
And
might be some
so,
bias there. Yeah.
hey,
There might be some bias from all of us, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. So some people are pro George, some people are pro Oscar, but they've all got a space in their hearts for Yuki. So for us, it's a huge day at the podcast. I mean, even our name, Traffic Paradise Radio, like, hello, it's paradise, like Traffic Paradise. What is this one? That's Yuki's iconic phrase, and yeah, so we're just thrilled as a channel. So let's quickly talk you through how this all went down. So obviously there was lots of rumors percolating through the Formula One community since Sunday's race. And basically everyone from Ralph Schumacher to the BBC was saying that Lawson's gone, Yuki's got the seat, but nothing was official until about, what's it, like an hour and 20 minutes ago, I think it was.
It was like, what was it, like 10 to 9 or 15 to 9?
It
Something like that.
it
On my
wasn't that
time.
long ago that we had to scramble to get a slideshow ready, and I kind of already had worked on the thumbnail, but that was about it because we sort of had assumed it was happening, so we made a thumbnail, but we waited for like official confirmation before we did anything else. So yeah, we got it done, and there's the graphic we've all been wanting to see. Well, at least I have. So it says there, the breaking news from Formula One, that iconic graphic: Yuki Tsunoda replaces Lawson at Red Bull.
I will
Um,
say, so much has happened already in this season. We're like 3 weeks in, and we've had 6, 7 breaking graphics already. Like,
it's crazy.
what the
Yeah,
hell?
and I mean, let's be honest. This is a graphic that shouldn't have happened. This
Mhm.
this this should have happened last year. Yuki Tsunoda should have been put into the Red Bull last year. Liam Lawson, if Liam Lawson really is their Wunderkind of the future, or at least until Arvid Lundblad can race, they should have given him more time at VCOP to get the basics down.
Yeah, if
I'll
you have the
always say that.
second team, you need a nurture. Like, you can
I,
point to Kimmy in Mercedes, but Mercedes don't have a second team. Like, I don't think Williams want to be their second team, so that didn't happen, right? So Red Bull have the second team. Liam should have been in the second team. It's just, we all know, Red Bull knows, even if I feel like nobody in Red Bull wants to admit it, that their car is now very flawed, in part because they didn't listen to Checo at all, or even Max to some extent. And so you can't just stick someone in. And I know Liam isn't a rookie, right? He's had 11 races now, but he's had 11 races. That's not a vast amount of experience. He hasn't even done every track. You can't just put him in that hard to drive car and expect him to be like in Q3 every time, tenths away from Max.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll always go back to this, but Franz Tost said that, who was obviously the team principal of AlphaTauri and Toro Rosso before it became Visa Cash App RB, he always said he needed 3 years to get a Red Bull Junior up to scratch to enter the main team. And time again, we've seen Horner and Marco jump ahead of that time frame and put someone in before they're ready, and with disastrous results. Pierre, Alex, now Liam. Yuki, however, has 4 years in the junior team, 4 years and 2 races. And so he's had that training that Franz Tost spoke about. And he is that much more well-rounded, experienced driver that can now step up to the senior team and take on that pressure, take on that challenge with confidence, and not a sort of arrogance that we've seen from
Let's go
Monsieur
there.
Lawson. There was a touch of arrogance there, I think. And I mean, understandable. He got picked to be in Red Bull. I probably would also be a bit arrogant if that was me, but it hasn't served him well because he's come across as a bit of a brat, and not in that cool green and black text kind of way. So yeah, we'll talk more about Lawson a bit later, but let's move on to the next graphic, because after this broke, we got, look at that.
It's so pretty.
What do you think of that, Immy?
I love it. I still, how I feel about the swirly writing, right? We're doing too many texts, but honestly, Yuki looks so good in a Red Bull suit. I do wonder if he's going to change his helmet, because his helmet fits so good with the V-Carb livery. His helmet last year, I don't think you had one of those images, but him, if anyone remembers post-season testing when he was in the Red Bull.
The thumbnail.
Oh, that is the thumbnail.
Go back to the thumbnail.
Okay, there we go. Exactly, right there. Yeah, it fit so well. I could not think of a helmet that matched the vibe of Red Bull, the livery of Red Bull, more than this helmet. It's so beautiful, honestly. And at the time, it was very melancholic, because I think Uno was sort of knew that nothing was going to happen. I was like, maybe he looks really sad because he's actually really focused. It just actually wasn't happening. But this is so beautiful, honestly. I really hope he brings it back, because if he has that white helmet on all of the naming, it's maybe not the biggest priority, but he's got a week. So come on.
Yeah, I do wonder what they're going to do. I mean, he could just bring that helmet that he used for testing last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think all the sponsors have remained the same, all of his personal sponsors. So I think he could do that. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's got the backing of a major team with millions and millions of dollars. Well, that's worth $1 billion or more, and a company that's worth billions and billions. I'm pretty sure they can knock out a helmet in a week.
Yes, I think they could get one for him.
And I mean, it's not like it's only from today. They knew since China, since Sunday. So they will
Yeah.
have had enough time to make a helmet for him. So yeah, I'm sure they'll try and match him to, because I mean he can't use his helmet anyway because it says Visa Cash App RB on it.
Oh yeah, so he will need a new one.
Yeah, he
I
needs a new
imagine
helmet regardless.
yeah, there's lots of teams where I feel like the helmet design really changes depending on where you are. Like Williams always have the what is it, Komatsu on the top of the helmet, and that's there, right? McLaren have the monster on the side, so you sort of have to change your helmet quite a lot depending on
Mm,
which team you're in.
yeah.
The talk of the
Um,
town, helmets.
yeah. So I also think that he might already have a Red Bull helmet because he was the reserve driver. So if he needs to
Oh
do
yeah.
testing with them and stuff, he would have to wear his Red Bull helmet. So he probably has one already. So he might just have one that he can quickly pop on. But he probably had a special helmet planned for Suzuka, given that it's his home race.
Oh
And he
Christ.
usually has that team up with Verdi, and he does like the cool little leaf design with the little leaf character of his. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
anyone
wonder.
really cares.
No, I care deeply about the helmets, but
I mean, I
oh,
care more about the fact that he's going to be racing a Red Bull at Suzuka. Like the helmet is like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't really change
this
my
is
day.
honestly so iconic. I like it's not how it should have happened. He should have been in the car, right, in Australia, in China, but to debut in Japan is like it's nice.
Yeah. So let's. I think the Japan angle is interesting because I don't know how true it is, but there's rumors that. So what happened is last year Honda offered Red Bull an additional $10 million to sort of facilitate Yuki moving up to the senior team. And because of politics or whatever it may be, Red Bull decided against it. And then the rumor is that on Sunday, Christian Horner phoned up Honda and was like, hey, about that extra 10 mil. Uh, so they were clearly, and I think there's maybe two things we can look at it here. One was they knew that they needed Yuki, and they figured might as well get some extra money while we do it. The other side is they knew that Liam probably cost them a position in the championship, at least one position in the constructors championship, which means they've lost so many millions of dollars. So that extra money from Honda will kind of help to bridge that gap.
I think
Um,
it's definitely sort of a combination of both because if you think about it, they might have lost a position already, but if Liam were to keep going with the form that he had, that might have been more positions. So it's
mm,
they want to like sort of get what they lost, but at the same time they need Yuki. They need a change. And they can't be stubborn in the way they sort of were with Checo last year, being like maybe he'll improve and he never did.
mm,
And that's not saying that Liam couldn't, because I'm sure he could, but it might not have been in enough time.
mm. Sorry, I just realized that my face was all in shadow, but I think this is focused. I'm going back to this one. Okay.
I think it's
Okay.
better like that. It's like all over shadow instead of just parts shadow.
Yeah. The other one was like weird. I looked like I'm in a horror movie. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of politics involved when it comes to Red Bull and their relationship with Honda, and we know that. Well, it's sort of been intimated that the decision to put Liam in the car was more a political decision rather than one based on skill or talent
Yeah.
or ability. So I think now those chickens have come home to roost, and clearly there's a problem with that second car because I don't think Liam's that bad. Like I really
No.
don't.
I think honestly, I'm gonna make this my wild card prediction, by the way. We're bringing it in. I think that Liam is gonna perform his best qualifying of the season so far. I think he's at least gonna make it to Q2, right? And I know there's a
Mm.
sort of low, but this is a midfield car, right? It's not the Red Bull. But I
Well,
I just feel like he obviously wasn't ready for that car or wasn't suited for that car, or that car is practically undrivable and Max is like working his magic to get around it. But
mm,
he performed pretty decently in the V Carb last year.
yeah. He's very competent. Like he's not a you know, a Nikita Mazepin or
Yeah, he's
you
just
know,
he's maybe not the sort of godsend that Christian Horner was trying to make him out to be. Not the second coming of Christ, right? Like he wasn't going to get in that car and get podiums. But
you know,
I
like
think
Max Verstappen wasn't Max Verstappen when he first came in, you know, like it
I mean
doesn't work
indeed,
that
but
way.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like when Max came in, the car might have had a few less issues. And I think, well, Max was quite known for crashing a lot back in the day, wasn't he?
Mm.
And I guess back
So I think
then,
that was more Toro Rosso, but yeah.
okay, back then, Red Bull also weren't, I mean, at the time at least, of course, they had their run with Sebastian, but they weren't the top dog, right? They didn't have a sort of reputation that they were willing to let go of as easily. I feel like Christian still wants to be the top team, the unbeatable team, but it's obviously slipped away from him. And so he wants to not have a driver going out in Q1 to at least sort of keep his reputation, because at what point do people start thinking, is Christian the right man for the job? Because I'd say no.
Go watch our video, Red Bull Civil War, if you want to know my opinion on whether or not Christian Horner is the right man for the job. But I will say this, a lot of people are asking that question now, and I think that the shareholders at Red Bull need to have a really long think about whether or not they want Christian Horner to stay around. I've heard Law VS speaking about it. I've seen a lot of commentators sort of alluding to it on Twitter and stuff, that Christian Horner is the one that's the problem, because after all, if your car's not working, if your drivers aren't working, if there is internal politics happening in your team, you know, there's a person who is responsible for all of that, and that's Christian Horner.
Yeah.
You know, it's that simple.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about assholes. We're here to talk about Yuki. So, moving on. The next slide here we've got from Oracle Red Bull. Now it's tiny on my screen, so Immy, if you could read that for us.
In my sick voice, enjoy it. Yuki's experience will prove highly beneficial in helping to develop the current car. We welcome him to the team and are looking forward to seeing him behind the wheel of the RB21.
Okay, very short and sweet. And they do say a little bit about Liam, which we'll get to later. But he's looking lovely there. It's not the best picture of him. The quality was a bit shocking, but
No.
he looks so happy, so proud in his Red Bull
They had a
outfit.
couple days to make this as well. You think they could choose a higher quality picture?
I think it was just because it's like it's a link to an article, so I don't think it brought out the most high def picture. I don't know. Good job, because the other pictures of him were lovely.
Yeah.
So that's what Red Bull had to say, and Visa Cash App RB were. I actually got a bit teary-eyed reading it, because if you go to the next slide, they posted this image.
Sorry, I'm gonna miss Yuki being on these graphics. They had such good graphics.
Their graphics team really upped the game this year. They did such a great
pretty.
job. I know.
Okay.
So thank you, Yuki. And then from Lauren Meek, he's the team principal. He said, Immy, take it away.
Okay. We're incredibly proud of Yuki earning his well-deserved move to Oracle Red Bull Racing. His progress last year and more recently, from the very start of 2025, has been nothing less than sensational. Personally and collectively, it has been an immense privilege to witness those progresses. Okay, that is right. It just doesn't sound right. Witness those progresses from all of us in Faenza and in Milton Keynes. Yuki's energy and positivity has lightened up every corner of our factories and of our garage, and he will always be a racing bull. We wish him all the success he deserves at ORBR. Lovely. Oracle Red Bull Racing.
Ironically, he's only been a racing bull for like 2 races in a sprint.
Yeah,
So anyway.
we're getting that branding.
Yeah.
What would you call him last year?
We finally have an actual team name, so there
a
we go.
V-carver. A Visa Cash
Yeah,
App.
I mean, look, these guys have been with Yuki since the start, when they were AlphaTauri, and now it's Visa Cash App RB, and then Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, and so he's got a lot of fans there. And I think what's most telling is Laurent Mekies has since last year been pushing the idea that Yuki deserves to get that Red Bull seat from, I would say, Australia or Japan last year. He started with this narrative and he was pushing it. And, I think Horner and Marco finally relented and they said, you know what, maybe it's time we listen to Laurent, because him and Peter Bayer, I've honestly never seen a team principal go to bat for their driver in the way that they have gone to bat for Yuki. It's actually so heartwarming to see how much they care about him and how much they are concerned with his future in the sport. Making sure they give him the opportunity to showcase his full potential so that if not Red Bull, but then other teams could see what he has to offer. And I think there's, a massive credit to them and to Franz Tost before them, who recognized that potential in Yuki. And yeah, there were some rough edges that needed to be shined out. I'm not going to pretend that Yuki arrived to Formula One as this perfect driver, but they gave him the time and the space and the equipment to do that. And it's culminated in this moment, which, to be fair, as we've said already, is a couple months too late. Should have happened in December, but it has happened now. And I think that they should all be immensely proud, not only of Yuki, but of themselves for getting him to this point.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I know we're not the biggest fans of Liam, but what I'm hoping is maybe they can do the same for him, because I don't want to see him. Something I'm so happy is that the Franco move didn't go through. It was blocked by Alpine, which maybe
That would have been
says
wrong.
something else worrying for Jack, but we'll get to that on a different day. But just to see Liam completely exiled from the sport would have actually been quite heartbreaking, because he obviously, these last two races, to be completely fair to him, Australia, wet weather, first race in a Red Bull in the wet weather, which Japan actually might be wet, so let's not think about that. Is not great. And then China is a very hard circuit as well. It wasn't the best run for him, and I'm happy he has a sort of safety net and he has Racing Bulls where hopefully he can develop, and then maybe in a couple of years' time, unless he gets surpassed by someone like Arvid, he can try again. But I do feel like Red Bull sort of have a one and done with promotions or demotions from the team. Pierre never made it back, and he was an absolute monster in the AlphaTauri for some years. So maybe it won't be Racing Bulls. Oh Christ, now I'm getting my RBs confused. Maybe it won't be Red Bull that Liam returns to, but maybe he'll have a future at least.
Yeah, I think, for when it comes to Liam, maybe you want to just move. I think the next slide is about Liam, I think.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry, no. This
The
is
next
Yuki.
one. No, the next
Yeah.
one. There we go.
What was the one before that? Was it not also about Liam?
Oh no, it was. I got jump scared by Christian.
That's okay. Valid, understandable, completely natural response. Can you read what it says there?
Okay. Yeah. It has been difficult to see Liam struggle with the RB21 at the first two races, and as a result, we have collectively taken the decision to make an early switch. That's a very diplomatic statement, I'd say.
There's also a bit at the bottom there, if you could read that.
Oh yeah.
The text
Love the
there
little
in the
slanted
image.
font. We came into the season with two ambitions: to retain the Drivers' Championship. Oh, he's a bit ambitious, isn't he? And to reclaim the Constructors' title. Okay. And this is purely a sporting decision. Well, yeah. I think even from a emotional decision, it's better to not see Liam continue to struggle. It's not a nice sight to see somebody just, because Liam could obviously do more.
Yeah. So, as you said, it's quite a diplomatic sort of statement. And Then Visa Cash App came in and said,
We can confirm that Liam Lawson will drive for the team for the Japanese Grand Prix from the Japanese Grand Prix. And I think we can be pretty certain that this swap is for the rest of the year because, like, who else are they going to swap?
there's no way Honda paid 10 million and didn't have
Yeah.
some sort of clause.
I will take Yuki being a Honda merchant if this is what we get, honestly. Like, yeah.
You know what?
Honda.
Like, I mean, I tweeted about it today because it kind of annoys me because people talk about, oh, Yuki's a Honda merchant or Zhou's only there to like appease the Chinese market or whatever. And it's like everyone's got a sponsor, bro. Like
Yeah.
everyone has a sponsor.
Apart from
No one
Liam,
goes around
apparently.
calling Ollie a Ferrari merchant, but that's essentially what he is. Ferrari's backed
Yeah.
him. They've got him a seat at another team to make sure that he can learn and grow so he can move to Ferrari one day. That's what Honda did with Yuki. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. They believe in him, and that's brilliant. It's good that they believe in them. You know, like it's good that Ferrari believe in Ollie Behrman. It's good that they believed in Charles Leclerc because he also went to Sauber. You know, I think it was when it was Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
You know, he raced for them because Ferrari believed in him and they organized a seat for him in a junior team so that he could, you know, get the experience he needed. And that's exactly what needs to happen for these guys because it's too expensive. Otherwise, they can't do it, you know. Otherwise, it would be
Yeah.
a whole bunch of Lance Strolls driving around. And that's no offense to Lance. It's just that, like, you know, only so many people can have billionaire daddies. It's not feasible otherwise. So, like,
I mean, at the end of the day, you'll only get sponsors if you are good. You know, Honda aren't going to back someone. I don't like to bring up Nikita Mazepin, but Honda aren't going to back Nikita Mazepin, right? You know, Honda are going to back somebody that gives them a good look, a good driver. Say, we make good cars. We like this guy. He drives good cars. You know, that's the point. Yuki has worked hard to become a Honda merchant, right? He's worked hard to get that backing. Ollie worked hard to get Ferrari backing. Kimmy worked hard to get Mercedes backing. I feel like it is a little bit sort of racist that it's only like Yuki and Zhou who are brought up as having this sponsorship, right? Everybody has it at the end of the day.
absolutely. And you know, it's just to sort of pivot it back to Liam, like he also has a sponsorship. He's sponsored by Red Bull. You know, they have sponsored his junior career. They have brought him into their grouping. They have given him all these advantages that Honda has given Yuki, that Ferrari has given Ali, for example. Like they've nurtured his career. And so I think, you know, to sort of look at him as different somehow to other drivers who have also had that is wrong. But to look at Liam a bit more positively, I think that I think he'll do a lot better at Visa Cash App Hobby or Racing Bulls. Oh God, they really need to settle on the name. And I think that he will. I think I could even see him like out qualifying Yuki in Suzuka. I could see him. I could
I
see them.
don't want to manifest that sort of thing, though, you know.
No, but it would be fine though, because like I could see them both getting through to like Q2 and maybe Yuki's like one spot behind him, you know.
Okay,
It would
yeah.
be an improvement for the second seat at Red Bull to get into Q2, great. And it would be an improvement for Liam to get into Q2, great. Everyone's winning, you know, like I don't think people are expecting Yuki to get pole position. He's only going to have driven that car like for 3 practice sessions, you know. He's done some work. He doesn't have nearly the amount of experience in that car that Liam had. So for him to get into Q2, like a little a sneaky P12, brilliant, you know. And then he can fight off a few cars and get a couple points at the end of the race. Like I don't see a problem with that. That would be a good debut for him. It would be better than what's come before,
Yeah.
and it would be what's expected for a driver with 0 experience in the car. So I'm okay with that, you know. And for Liam, I think that he will feel a lot more at home at VCAR because that's where he's driven for the past 11 races, you know, for 11 races. It's like his little home. It's like more like a timeshare. It's his spot, you know, and he knows people there, and I think he'll find a much more nurturing environment. And I think that Lauren Makeys and Peter Bayer, they will take that love and devotion that they have for Yuki, and they will share it amongst their new children, Isaac and Liam. It will be good. So
Yeah.
I think this is a good thing for Liam Lawson, like on a personal level, and I think for his career as well, because like as you said, there were those like rumors of Colapinto. If Red Bull had dropped Liam completely, like his career would be over right
There's
now.
no
Like no
coming
one
back
would
from
ever
that.
touch him again. So he might get like a reserve driver, like Audi or something. Probably not. So he's been given like another chance. And as we've seen with Alex, as we've seen with Pierre, there is life after Red Bull. He can go on to have an amazing career. He can go on to win races even, to have podiums, to like be a celebrated driver. So it's not the end of the road, but not by a long shot. It's just not his moment. It's not his time. And that's okay.
Caitlin's brought up something really interesting in the chat, is that the only time an RB Junior has actually gone up to the main team with at least a year of experience was Max, I think. Which is, that just to me, Red Bull do not know how to handle their junior team at all. Because they've made that mistake so many times. How do they make that mistake so many times? Of course, it worked out on some occasions, but then we've had Pierre and Alex, and Sheko obviously wasn't at the junior team, but then we've had Liam, and it's just people need experience. And yet again, this is another point that goes against Christian Horner. How has he not realized the mistakes he's made in the past and calmed down and actually thought about a driver decision rationally instead of just going, I want Liam for whatever political reason, inter-team politics reason, sponsorship reason, I don't know. But
not to be completely reductive, but Christian Horner is a narcissist, and he has no ability to actually self-reflect.
Well, exactly.
Examine his own decision making and his own flaws. It's never about him, ever, ever, ever. And yeah, that's why I really hope the Red Bull people really have a strong look at this and just go, what the hell have you done to our team? Because he has cost that team, like, I would say at least $50 million over the past year. At least. And that's like, I don't know all the financial details. That's just from what I can get from just like looking at like basic info. It's at least $50 million. That's crazy money. Crazy.
Honestly, if they had somebody in the second seat last year who could perform even a little bit, if Christian had actually made a swap at summer in the mid-season, then they probably would have won the constructors. Like, Max had such sort of a chokehold on it that he came third practically by himself.
Or if they had listened to Checo about
Indeed,
the car,
yeah, that's a better point.
When
If they had
Toto Wolff
listened,
was showing his papers, I have quotes from Checo. If they had actually listened to Checo when he spoke about it, and instead of having Helmut Marko come out and like chastise Checo for being a South American, because he's a racist old side club.
God, this team, honestly, this team and racism, they run hand in hand.
No. Yeah. I mean, because Helmut Marko is this like medieval, mythological beast that comes out of the cave just to like scare people. He is atrocious, and it doesn't help that you've got Christian Horner there who only cares about his like self-image and his it's like protecting his own image, So like you've just got these two like disgusting. You've got Narcissus and a Minotaur running a team, and it's just like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Caitlin
that's my little Greek mythology.
Asked Greek mythology. If we know if Yuki is locked in for the entire season, and I think surely, right? He must be. The Honda money. If that's true, then there's no way he isn't in for the entire season.
I would say there's probably a clause that keeps him until the mid-season break, and then a performance clause, so like they can't get rid of him until the mid-season break, and then a performance clause that keeps him to the end of the year. I would imagine that's what they've negotiated.
Yeah.
I'm just off the top of my head speculating.
Theoretically, if he were to go mid-season, who would replace him? Like, I wouldn't bring up Liam again, but then they'd be making the same mistake by bringing up Isaac. So
I don't think they will. They might bring back Daniel or someone, but I doubt it.
I don't think Daniel's coming back.
It's amazing they've got two teams and like no one. Like, it's so funny. I just like they've completely stuffed it up. They should have an entire horde of fucking like junior drivers ready, chomping at the bit. But because they fucked up with DeVries, they fucked up with Gasly, they messed up with Lawson, they messed up with Ricardo, like, and Yuki's just like.
And Yuki's just been there through all of it.
Be me. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think this has to be for the whole season, because at this point, Christian's a narcissist, but at some point, like, I don't know, the board or something's gonna like peel back his eyelids and make him take a long look at himself, right? Like,
well, I think
this has to be a decision that was definitely mostly not him.
Oh, there's no way Christian Horner made this decision, not at all.
So
I doubt it.
At some point, when he's messed up so many times, I don't know if he's the one who's making the big decisions, like if he has as much control, because it's been a bad look for Red Bull. It's been a bad look for their brand. It's been bad for their performance. It doesn't reflect well on him, because this all comes back to him. So yeah, I think they're just, at this point, no more driver swaps. Let's not touch it. Let's just see how Yuki does. And if he still doesn't do well, it's the car. Because we can't, it's getting so messy. No other team is like this. Well, I guess Williams kind of was last year, but nobody really looked at Williams and went, "Oh, that's good leadership." you know?
Williams at least gave Sargent like a year and a half, you know?
Yeah, but I mean,
they gave him time
if we're going back to Logan, I just think in the same way that sort of Red Bull have just done Liam, though I think Logan knew before he was being dropped, actually, before the media did. So Williams did that better, because in his radio in Zandvoort, it was sort of like, it sounded very like, this is the last race, this is a goodbye, right? Without explicitly saying it. Whereas, I guess it's different because Liam's still on the grid, right? But even then, the way Williams did it was kind of messy, especially because Franco then went and crashed a bunch of times as well.
I mean, Franco was good though. Like, Franco got points for them, you know. So I think also
I'd say
improved by then. But yeah.
Franco was better than Logan, but how much of Logan's sort of not performance was down to his confidence being absolutely destroyed by the team? So Australia is what I think would put a pin in it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, you know, like, and I think that's a key thing that Red Bull has to learn. You know, look at Yuki's confidence, and it's not this like brash, youthful arrogance of like overconfidence. I can do anything I want to. It's a slowly learned acceptance of what he can actually do in a car, because he's had that time to build up that confidence. You can't throw someone in the deep end and expect them to swim. You got to teach them first, you know. You got to put them on the step, let them like touch the water, like, you know. And I think that there's a lesson to be learned from this. That like, it's kind of like that. It's that old fable, the tortoise and the hare. You know, Yuki's the tortoise. He's just been going at his own pace, doing his thing. And as much as people try and sprint ahead of him, they always get caught out, because he's doing slow and steady, and hopefully he will win the race, you know. And I mean that literally. I want him to win a race this year.
Yes, that would be great.
I will set the
I need a podium.
Yeah.
I need a podium.
If he can get 2 podiums, I think he will become the greatest Japanese driver ever. I don't think there's another driver with more than 1 podium. So if he can get 2 podiums, double Tsunodium, or like win a sprint race.
I don't know, we've got a triple header here. I mean, I don't think Yuki's gonna jump in and like win a race, but also I'd love Yuki to jump in and win a race, you know? Like, if it could happen, I'd be sat for it.
Yeah, like there's a part of me saying like a 5% part of me that's like Yuki's gonna win Suzuka, and then there's like a 10% part of me that's like Yuki's gonna get a podium, and then there's like a more like 80% chance of part of me that's like Yuki's gonna do okay, and that's all
Yeah.
that he needs to do.
I mean,
He doesn't
exactly.
need to do better than okay for the next race or two. Let him build up his confidence in that car, and then he can start going crazy and winning races or getting podiums and stuff. You know, he doesn't have to be. It's that slow and steady approach. Let him go in at his own pace.
Yeah.
And he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, no offense to Liam, but it's a low bar to pass, isn't it? You know, P20
You can't
qualifying,
do worse than
P20
P20. There is no
qualifying, P18
P21.
qualifying. If he can get like a P17 in qualifying, like that's already we're at the races, you know? We're better.
P17 would not be good enough. I would say
Oh, I
he
know,
needs to get through to
but
Q. He
it
needs to
would be
get through to
beating
Q2.
Liam. He's going to get into Q2. It's like you've been saying, he has a steady confidence. He knows what he can do. In the past, like, year and a half, he's completely sort of shaken off any of the people who were saying, "Oh, he always swears on the radio. He's always really immature." He's been so mature and so put together and so, like, fair to his team, I think, especially in the last few races. I don't think anybody would be mad if he sat there and cussed them out, because the strategy has been quite appalling and has cost him a number of points. A number of points. He would be probably right up there where Alex is right now if the strategy wasn't bad. But even then, he's sat there, he's been calm, he's been collected, and he's been fair to his team, which I think just shows how much of a put together sort of driver he is now. He's not letting any sort of temper get the better of him, because now he doesn't have it. He just has drive and passion, and he wants to do what he can do, and that's all that matters. And I think that is how he's going to succeed.
Absolutely. Tell me, do we have the picture of Yuki and Max? Did I put that in?
No.
No. Damn. Okay, let me quickly just say it then. So, to my little brother at home watching, who is a massive Max fan, and we've heard him on the show before, Braylon, I just wanted to say, look, my boy, we support the same team now. Isn't that cool? Max and Yuki are in the same team, just like we are, like brothers. So I miss you lot, my boy. I love you lots. Told my mom to show him the video today, so I just wanted to say that because he's back in South Africa, and I do miss him a lot. And he's a big Max Verstappen fan. So now that we're racing for the same team, I think it's going to be nicer. But I do think Yuki's going to beat Max every now and then. But Max can still win most of the time. Okay.
Yeah. That's sweet.
Love you, Brady. Okay.
I do think.
Yeah.
I'm back on this slide now, and I think the people who make the braking graphics always like to find like the most angry or depressed image of a driver who's being dropped. It's like a skill. It's an art form.
Yeah. Well, it does help that. So wait, hold on. Oh, that's actually the picture of Yuki from testing last season.
Oh.
Because it's got Red Bull here on the collar.
Yeah. And it has the old crypto sponsor, not the new one.
Yeah. They've actually done well there. Yeah, but that's I mean, look, Liam hasn't exactly been smiling the last few weeks. I think it was quite easy to find a picture of him not looking the best. So
Yeah.
But yeah, the graphics team always doing a phenomenal job there at Formula One. So well done to them. I know they've had some odd choices when it comes to fonts lately, but besides that, they've been doing great. So we'll forgive them. And then anything you want? I think we're kind of done now.
Yeah.
My neighbors are going to complain if I go on much longer. So let's just go back to that one. Back
I like this
But
one.
thank you, Yuki. Yes, that's lovely. It is beautiful. But there's my boy.
Oh, it's
So
gonna be a
happy.
long wait until Japan.
I'm totally gonna go buy newspapers tomorrow. I'm gonna buy like
Oh my
every
god,
newspaper I
yeah.
see. I'm just gonna be like newspaper. So exciting. Yeah. So I think we can call it a day, and we'll leave it on this lovely image. We don't have the usual. Well, do you want to say anything more, Immy?
I don't have much more to say, but I think whatever happens in Japan, I know that Yuki's gonna try his hardest, and I think that is truly what matters. And I hope for Liam as well on the PR front, because I just thought of something to say again, so I now can no longer leave it on a sentimental note. I hope that being back in VCARB will maybe make him a little bit less, arrogant, because he was doing it last year as well. The way to get along in this sport is not to make an enemy of everyone, and that is sort of what he was doing. He couldn't do much of that this year, but you've just got to sort of reevaluate, I think, and this is probably quite humbling. But Yuki is amazing, and he's going to do amazing.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is a very humbling experience for him, and he has the option now to grow from it or to sort of double down and continue being the way he was. And, you need friends in Formula One. It's important. You need people to have your back because you need someone who's going to recommend you to their team principal when your team wants to drop you.
I mean, exactly. Think like George and Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. You can win, but you can also make friends. They're not mutually exclusive. So yeah, I think on that note, on a personal note, to everyone of Yuki Tsunoda's fans who tweeted hashtag Yuki to Red Bull, thank you. Thank you to VCOB. Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Tsunoda for your amazing son, and to Honda for giving him this opportunity. And most of all, thank you to Yuki for being such an inspiration to so many of us. And well done, bro. You did it. You fucking did it, bro. I'm getting all emotional now, so I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna cry on live stream. That's ridiculous. That would be so embarrassing. So yeah. Hashtag Yuki to Red Bull. This is Traffic Paradise Radio. The road to Red Bull second seat is finally clear. So let's fucking go. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Yes, that as well.
Yes. And now we end it before Uno starts crying. Okay.
Yes.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Hit the music, Immy.
Yeah, cue the music.